everyone. This is Jim Pagiamtzis with the Pro on the Go, Season 1, and we have an exciting guest here today. Her name is Cheryl Rankin, and she runs a business called Fit for Business. So a little bit about Cheryl. So Fit for Business is a business consulting company that helps you grow to the next level. In comparing ourselves to a personal trainer, we shape up your sales, add muscle to your marketing, set up your budget, and make your business healthier. After helping a company grow from 200 members to 3,000 in a little over 3 years, doubling the profits over a 13-year-old business that has plateaued and tripling another company's best ever month, Cheryl started her own consulting business to help other types of businesses. Cheryl also is a speaker. She shares a topic called No Dollars Marketing, which is bigger than social media. Knowing your target market and knowing your marketing works better for you, and closing sales are easier. So with further ado, welcome Cheryl to the Pro on the Go.
Thank you for having me, Jim. It's very nice to be here.
Excellent. So, part of this show is really to share insights, and part of why having Cheryl on here is that Cheryl and I have known each other for almost 10 plus years. We have done multiple projects, and I'm going to share a little bit about them as time goes on. So the first topic we're going to talk about here, to start off, is about marketing and promoting your business. So basically, I wrote an article for the Toronto Public Library in 2008, one of 3 articles, but one of them was on marketing, promoting your business. And what I realized was just writing the article was promoting my writing skills. And fast forward, that article opened up many doors for me, speaking and much more. So I've seen the full power of that. So I wanted to throw it to Cheryl to talk a little about that, because everyone has a different, not just perspective, but insights on marketing and promoting. As you see from the intro, Cheryl has helped businesses significantly, and I know a lot about this story, but I want to throw it to you, Cheryl, and just share insights on what you think marketing and promoting your business is now, and where it could be going in the future.
What it is now? Well, I think it's paying attention to any and all opportunities. So just the one you mentioned, that you said you wrote an article and then somebody noticed that you had some writing skills. I have to build on that one right away. I received an email, probably about 8 years ago, and it had so many spelling errors and grammar errors. It was ridiculous. So I edited the email and I sent it back to them. And I didn't think of myself as an editor. I was just helping their marketing. And within the 24 hours, I got a phone call. And for about 3 years, I edited 2 magazines. There were national level Canadian magazines, because I tried to help them with no strings attached and accidentally showed them that I edit.
Well, this is exactly what happens sometimes, is you do something and it shows another skill. It also happened to me when I wrote articles and I turned it into my book. I actually edited other books. I think I edited like 6 books. I never thought I was an editor. Like, that was the furthest thing from the stretch. But one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was the fact that doing this podcast right now, we're just sort of in June 2021, and businesses have gone through a tough time now, and it's going to change. But even before we hit this time, do you think that businesses really took advantage of the tools that was available to them in the 21st century? Like, there's a lot of tools out to promote your business. Do you think that businesses really knew what tools to use? Like, should they go online? Should they use radio? Do you think businesses still understand what the best focus for their business is to promote it?
No, I don't think everybody knows the best focus and how to take advantage of like you said, tools, whether it's social media or video options or using Teams and Zoom and things for virtual meetings or presentations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people know what to do with those tools.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true for any tool. I met a
Mm-hmm.
gentleman who at some point spent something like $6,000. He had the fanciest website. He had those folders like the real estate people, but he was a human resources consultant. He had business cards. He had postcards. He had every marketing thing you could have. I met him. He'd been in business more than 6 months. He had not yet handed out a business card till he met me.
Wow. Okay.
He had all this fancy stuff, but he didn't know what to do with it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So my point is, need to know what tools are out there that might be able to help you,
Mm-hmm.
and then how to use them.
Mm-hmm.
So, things like social media. I see people posting an advertisement every single time they post. And it's like, oh, if it's the same ad every time, then I barely see the name and I say, oh, I don't need to read that. I've seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
Where if people post some helpful tips or articles or just pictures of the stuff they sell without the advertisement, you'd be like, oh, that's cool. And
Mm-hmm.
and you catch the attention of the people looking.
Yeah.
The other thing that pops in my head that I noticed a lot in the last year or a little over a year is people are doing the same old stuff, but their customer might have changed. So if I always went to a restaurant on Friday nights, well, now I can't go to the restaurant on Friday nights. Do they have a takeout option? If they do,
Mm-hmm.
are they telling me? Do they have specials? What are they doing about it to try and get me to adapt to the new world?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where some other people haven't adapted at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I sell something like perfume, you want to smell it before you spend your $50 or $100.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if there's no way to sample it at an event, then maybe you need to buy the little miniature samples and mail them.
Mm-hmm.
Or if somebody's really close, drop them off at their house.
Mm-hmm.
Or you give them to that restaurant that's doing takeout and say, it's Mother's Day, here's some samples to give to all the moms.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, people get to smell your product.
Yeah.
Because you need to know what your customer needs.
Mm-hmm.
How many pairs of shoes have you ever purchased that you didn't try on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And I think this is where the insights you're sharing are, again, maybe what worked before is going to change. So powerful example. So we're going to go on the second topic. And so the second topic is about speaking. So I'm just going to give some context on this. So Cheryl and I basically have shared the stage together many times in an organization called the Canada Job Expo for many years. Canada Job just passed our 10th anniversary. Cheryl was amazing to come in and share there and with the expo. Early on in my speaking career, Cheryl came out to me and we shared for the City of Toronto for social services. We've also spoken for an event called Summer Bash and also Networking Week with our mutual friend Jennifer Beal. But one of the things I felt wanted to talk about this is because I've been passionate about networking and mentorship and email marketing and now about podcasting and branding. But one of the things when I was researching, what to talk with you about, because I mentioned to anyone that you speak about the Noel Dollars marketing. There's also an organization that you had invited me out to attend. It was a Business Connection Exchange Group. They were meeting on Wednesdays downtown. An amazing group of a variety of entrepreneurs, which I got to know and meet at other events. So that community aspect. And also I've run some other events here, Patio Power and some other things that Cheryl's come out. Even Cheryl joined me in some sporting events over the years. I remember you came to the Leafs event that I did about 5 years ago, Cheryl, remember that?
I do.
So, and I actually came to, I think, an Argo game you invited me over a couple of years ago. So I just wanted to throw it back to you, Cheryl, on the sense of why speaking for your business is important. Do some businesses do have the option to speak to their customers, whether not at a store, but even online? Can you share insights on how important do you feel that is for a business owner to share about their business?
Actually, I can give you a couple pieces of the puzzle. When I first started my business, I went out and I was networking and I knocked on a few doors and all of those different things. And then I advertised for a workshop. And I've got a big secret. No one signed up for my workshop.
Really?
But I didn't tell anybody. And I behind the scenes, canceled my workshop.
Oh, okay.
But the day after the workshop was scheduled, I got 2 phone calls. I couldn't make the workshop, but I'd love to hire you.
Wow, okay.
So 2 things. Number 1, when you speak, you end up getting into that category called experts.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you figure out what does an expert in your business category do,
Mm-hmm.
then you can say, are they advertising on TV? Are they speaking on a stage? Or do they write articles? Are they interviewed? What are they doing? Now, those are probably the great big names, but you can do most of those things on a smaller scale and work your way up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one piece. It helps prove you're an expert. But the other piece, it is marketing in 2 ways. One is in advance. Whoever sees information about that event knows your name, knows your business name, and knows one of your big topics. The other thing is the event itself. Almost always you get more than 1 minute to talk.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a chance to give a little bit longer version and people are willing to listen.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, even if you're not a great speaker, stick your hand up, accept when people give you the opportunity and do it.
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell you one more quick story.
Yeah.
I lived in Boston, and there's an international fitness association called IRSA, and the people from their head office were working out in my fitness center. So the gentleman in charge of speakers for an international conference was a member. And I said, if you ever get stuck for a speaker, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Because I said that, I got to speak at an international conference in Phoenix, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Last minute at the international level means you have 3 months notice.
Wow. Okay.
So it's not last minute in our world that says, hey,
Mm-hmm.
our speaker didn't show up. Can you go on in 10 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
3 months notice. So
Yeah.
I do think speaking's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you take lots of opportunities to speak as well.
I do, and it's interesting you say that. I just want to. I actually forgot to say something, and I have to apologize to my audience. So one of the things that Cheryl and I, there's a lot of events here in Toronto. So one thing that I made a huge mistake is I didn't tell people that we're both very passionate networkers. And why I share this is because I, never realized how important networking was till later in my business rather than the beginning. I was a horrible networker in the beginning, and I gradually got better. But one of the things I realized is you just said something that reminded me about putting your hand up. And I remember when I first started speaking in 2008 to about 2011, I had no credibility. I started getting credibility in 2011 when I spoke for the city of Toronto. But what I did is, any opportunity, and especially in the beginning, I put my hand up. And I think the reason that helped me was because I was available. I worked a sort of an evening shift at a logistics company. So during the day, I was free. So I'd go a lot of lunch and learns and so forth. And I really got to build my network. But something you just said, be available. Be available for that. And then when I did start getting some recognition, like show came out, we spoke at social services, we did some other events and all that, the confidence grew. But one little tip I want to, before we get to the next topic, Cheryl, is can you tell a bit about, which we should have spoken in the beginning, is about networking. Because speaking is great, but you have to be able to network. And I know that this is something that you always talk about so effectively, and I always listen, because for me, I want to always have the edge on networking. Like, that's just my passion. So can you give our audience a little tidbit? We may probably talk about this topic on another podcast, but I felt it was important to talk a little bit about this topic here. Can you share some insights on that, if you don't mind, Cheryl, please?
So I have a question for you, Jim.
Yes.
Have any of your friends ever told you about a good movie or a new restaurant?
Yes. Movies all the time. Movies all the time.
That's networking. So in the small business world, or even medium-sized business, growing businesses might be an even better terminology, you want that same thing to happen. Because most people buy from somebody they know, they like, and they trust.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sometimes you need to buy gas and you're in a new city and you don't know the gas station owner and you don't care, you just need gas. But if you have time and the ability to choose, you're going to buy from somebody you know, like, and trust.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things you want to do is meet people and leave a good impression. And one of the best ways to do that is help them. And it can be really easy.
Yes.
So if you're helping people with email newsletters, and I bump into somebody at an event and they accidentally say something about, oh, I'm thinking of doing a newsletter, I can say, hold on, let me take you across the floor and meet Jim.
Yes.
And help them on the spot. Doesn't mean I have to buy from them.
Yes.
I could tell them about another event, anything to help them so that they like me a little bit more. And just like any relationship, you continue to try and build the relationship. You try and remember a few details.
Well,
so you try and remember, I think, wasn't it you that had an acronym for your networking to keep track of things? So I think when you're networking, you're marketing to the people that are there, but you're marketing to their list. So if I talk to 10 people at a meeting and everybody has 100 people on their list, if I get their attention, literally I have the chance of getting to, what is that? 1,000 people.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's a small group today. It's no, what am I doing about it?
Yes.
So that somebody is going to remember me down the road.
Well, Cheryl, you just gave away the classic amazing secret. So I want to repeat what you just said. So one of the most important things that I tell people is when you go on an event, you want to add value. And one of the funny things, I don't know if I've ever told you this story, Cheryl. We may have told you, but I'm gonna say it anyways. One of the funniest things I tell people is when I go to an event, the first thing I know is where are the washrooms. And the reason I tell you this is mostly someone is going to ask me where the washrooms are. And I remember we're at Summer Bash at Ontario Place 4 years ago. Like, I remember it was yesterday. People were asking, where are the washrooms? I was like, up the steps to your right. I must have told 10 people. Do you know all 10 of them came back and said, okay, you got my attention. What do you do?
It's true, though. It's totally true.
I know. And one of the things is what I realized. Someone gave me this comment one day. It didn't really stick back then, but they said to me, because your audience is your best promoter. They said to me that, Jim, you're a networking catalyst, meaning exactly what Cheryl says. You're taking whatever information you have at the event and you're using it. And that's the biggest impact you can have at a networking event. So this is like the good stuff we're giving, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we're free flowing here, but we just gave you the stuff here. And I'm really excited because part of this, the pro and the go philosophy is we're going to give you stuff and we want you to use it. So that was awesome. Okay. I love that. Next one, we touched upon this, social media. So I'm going to start this and then we'll see where this goes. So for me, social media has been always something that I understood it, but it took me a while to understand the amplification. So remember in the beginning, I told you this article. Well, this article is written on a Blogspot article platform. Within 48 hours, I got a referral to speak at Happen. Happen was an organization in Burlington, Ontario. Because of that, I referred someone and they spoke. I spoke to Happen. I don't know how many times I went to go speak to Happen. In Burlington, Toronto, Oakville. I was like one of the longest serving multiple members speaking all over the place, all because of one little article. 48 hours. I mean, I love that. Fast forward, in 2011, I became a constant contact, a solution provider. Just being honest with everybody, that's what I did. And I became a speaker, and I spoke all across Ontario, and it was a phenomenal thing. But what I realized is especially when I was networking with Cheryl, and she was sharing her insights, because I've been to summer events where she spoke on this with our mutual friend, Vito Marchesi, and some of his events and other events, was that you learn little things outside the box. I know it's a cliche, but that's what I find, understanding other people's perspectives. And I can see you talking about email marketing, right? But again, it's how to do your business, and Cheryl give a great experience. So what I wanted to ask you about this is, we don't have a lot of time left, but what is something, like say we're with someone who's in business already, and yes, we're coming out of a COVID business, not a lockdown, but a metamorphosis, let's call it. What do you think businesses are looking to do now better than they have in the past? You gave some suggestions about knowing your customer. Can we go to the next level as what other things do you think to do? Because, social media is like, there's Google ads, there's a lot of Facebook ads, there's lots you can do. What do you recommend in general for a second level suggestion?
Well, I think the first level is know your customers so that you can market to them better, and it's more effective and it's easier to close the sales. But the next piece is to be able to anticipate their needs and make their lives easier. So whether it's just knowing a different product that they want to have, or giving them information so that they know, oh, they want to give that to somebody as a gift, and why would it make a good gift? But one of the things that caught my attention in the last couple months is my car dealership. I love my vehicle. Well, for a year, once a month I got a phone call, it's time for an oil change, and I'd say, I'm not driving my car. But about 6 weeks ago, I got a letter in the mail that says cars that sit still need oil changes and maintenance. And I was like, they adapted. They adapted, and they're thinking on the other side. If somebody was selling makeup, it would be, don't forget makeup expires after a year. Well, if ladies aren't wearing as much makeup because they're working from home in their pajama pants, then at some point they need to buy new makeup. But they might not think of it because they're not using it as much as they used to.
Right.
And it's true for a whole lot of different categories to say, how do I help people buy from me again? So I sold them makeup once. How do I get them to buy again? I sold them vitamins. How do I get them to buy again? I sold them a workshop. How do I get them to buy again? Do they want the same workshop again? Do they want a different workshop? So I think that would be the big thing, is to figure out, how do I get them back, because they just haven't been around for a year and a half, or how do I get them to buy again?
Well, this is why I think it's important. Is again, you said know your customer. I mean, it's like 3 words, know your customer. But again, goes back to, having or looking maybe at having a CRM, like with Constant Contact. We have a feature where you can tag your customers, add some information. I think knowing your customers now is probably even more important than it was even before COVID.
Oh, for
Right?
sure.
Honestly, I just interviewed on another podcast a woman who does retail makeovers, and they said businesses have to pivot, and now compared to maybe where they were 10 years ago. So, like I said, that's why I was excited to have Cheryl on, because I think it's important that, I have a few of the answers, but part of the pro and the go is to give you part of my community insights. And let me tell you, it's a powerful insight. So with that, I got a big announcement to make. So when I started this pro and the go in January, I was nervous. I came up with the logo, the name. I did a podcast on that. You can check it out, and it's one of the episode 1. But the next thing it was like, I got to do this by myself. I was like, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I did, because part of who I am, and Cheryl knows this, is, yes, you go out there and you promote your business, but I've always been about my community and my network. And part of what I want to share now a little bit is, COVID definitely changed me. After March 2020, man, I had nowhere to go. No networking. Zippo. Zilch. And I talked about this on my podcast where I had the big thing called a phone and call people. And people didn't return my texts or all that. It was a transition period for me. So fast forward, when I started in January, I'm like, okay, I am not going to fall for that again. So what I did is about 3 months ago, I called Cheryl. I said, "Listen, Cheryl, I have this idea," and then I was like, a big gulp, because I didn't know, because I've not seen Cheryl, like I've not spoken to Cheryl, seen Cheryl for a while. I think I may have called her once or twice. So I gave Cheryl my vision, I did my sales pitch for almost in like 10 minutes, and then I just closed my mouth and I waited. And at the end, Cheryl agreed to be my co-host here on the Pro and the Go. And let me tell you, when I hung up the phone, I did my little Greek dance. I was like, I did my Greek dance. Okay, woohoo! I'm doing it now. I'm a little Greek dance, right? And part of why I was happy was because, I have a number of friends and community members that I've already asked to be in the show. But what I realized in doing some research, and I have a podcast with my business partner called the Quantum Leaping Podcast. And for season 2 of that podcast, we actually are interviewing individuals. And we did one show already, and it was phenomenal to interview someone like that. So I said, I'll do the same thing. So what we're going to do is Cheryl's going to be my co-host for this year. I have, for season 1, we'll see how everything goes. So I have about 4 or 5 guests that I've spoken to. One is another speaker. Another one is a wealth expert with a couple of books. I'm reaching out to a really amazing gentleman. He's known as the Fireguy. I've known him for about 10 years. He lives in my neighborhood, actually. So I'm crossing my fingers. I'm going to send him a proposal for my podcast. To have him on. He's a phenomenal story. You know those buskers, Cheryl? The people who busker? That, they do the...
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so he was a broke busker, Cheryl. Broke, like money, nothing. Well, fast forward 2021, this guy's a Guinness Book of World Record holder. He is literally on fire. I mean, I don't know what word to use. And I ran into him when he was not a broke busker, but he was just getting over being broke. But what this gentleman has done is so imperative about building a business that I definitely, so we'll see. I'm telling it to the universe. But I wanted to throw it back to Cheryl for you to share insights on, what you thought when I asked you about this Pro on the Go, and because we've collaborated in so many things over 10 years. So first of all, I really appreciate you doing this show. But can you tell the audience what your thoughts are after doing this show and telling you what I was doing? Because because I almost would have fainted if you would have said no. I would have. I don't know what I would have done, but thank God. But can you just tell her, because you've known me for a while, I wanted to throw it back to you.
Well, I was pleased to have the invitation or the request.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of things popped in my head is there are so many opportunities for discussions, topics galore. Today we hit 2 or 3 topics, and we could have done a full hour on each of them. So we managed to squish them in and toss a tip out here and there. And the idea that we can take those 3 topics, take more topics, and expand the discussion and help people. And I think that's one of the things we both have in common is help people, and somehow it comes back to us. And I think that's a big thing. We've definitely crossed paths multiple times along the years. And, I think City of Toronto, I spoke at City of Toronto as well. And I don't know if you told me or I told you, but we both ended up with that opportunity. And I think it's one of those things that the more we help other people, they're willing to help us. It all comes back. And so I'm excited to see where we can take this.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate doing that, because at the end of the day, I tell you, I mean, there's very few people. I have a big network of amazing people, and I just felt that I really thought about this, and I didn't want to put, like I said, I didn't want to, even if she would have said no, I would have understood. Like, these are changing times for everybody. But the thing was, I felt that Cheryl really knew who I was as a person, as a professional. We've been through the fires. We she's been at the beginning when I grew the Canada Job Expo, like early on. Oh my God, what we went through, and look where it began now. Where they transition out to more of an online here from last year and this year. But what I'm going to do is I'll put Cheryl's information here, where people can reach out to her with her picture and her information. And I look forward to having join me here as a co-host with some of these guests. And we have an author I've reached out to. We've written a number of books. And again, an accomplished speaker, Karen Donaldson. So some really high-powered individuals who definitely have the expertise in their lane for sure. So with that, thank you, Cheryl. Is there any last little tip? How about if I throw it back to you? How about a quick, let's see, a no dollars marketing tip before we end the show?
No dollars marketing tip.
Yeah, a little one. How's that?
Okay. Well, I'm going to say, take advantage of all those opportunities, whether it's a speaking opportunity or a last minute request to get a booth at an event at a discount because they didn't have enough booths sold. Whatever those opportunities are, be ready for them. And we will see you again soon.
Yes, yeah, opportunities everywhere. I'll concur with that. Opportunities are everywhere. So with that, this is Jim Pagiamtzis in the Pro on the Go, Season 1. Look forward to having you. Check out our previous shows. There's 6 other shows I've done already. Some are solo shows. Others I've done with interviewed Manny Baines in January. Check out those shows. Subscribe to my channel. I want to grow my subscribership here this year as well. So with that, take care, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.